Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to What the Papers Jackson on 9/11. Isn't it great? It's the anniversary of the fake war on terror. Lazarus, hey. And what's a couple of things about that? First of all, there's nothing in the papers about 9/11. Nothing at all. Today's paper is The Guardian. It's full of the usual woke pish that left-wing rags are full of, but there's nothing in it. No commemorative spiel, no evocation of our heroic response, no retelling of the story of how wonderful it was that we fought against those horrible terrorists. Nothing. Not a word anywhere in the whole rag. I wonder if that's repeated elsewhere, but it gave me pause for reflection. 9/11, wasn't it great? 9/11, a simpler time when all you had to worry about were rapacious corporations fooling the American people into conducting a war on something that's an adverb. A war on adverbs. And then milking them to the tune of billions for, Coca-Cola in the desert and fries with your burgers on your Chinook as you fly into a Stone Age country to subject the people to 21st century malarkey. A simpler time when all you had to do was hate Muslims and turn a blind eye to them being bombed back to the Stone Age by some lying cocksucking scumbag in the White House and his corporate friends and their whores. 9/11. Fond memories of railing against the obvious lies and deceit of the no plane at the Pentagon, the obvious explosives in the towers, and the subsequent non-investigation of the World Trade Center site or any of the provenance of any of the hijackers. 9/11. That was fun. But to quote a song, 9/11 is now just a piece of irrelevant history. 9/11, like the death of Kennedy, is now just a piece of irrelevant history. It's true. We've moved on. I don't mean you have, or I have. I mean the world has. The world moved on and the truth don't count. If you don't believe me, take a look about. And if you needed any more reminder of how much the world has moved on, my government just announced a lockdown restricting social gatherings to 6 people, ole selfus, anywhere. Your back garden, no more than 6 people. Your living room, no more than 6 people. Your car, vehicle, anywhere. Except you're still allowed to go to a pub. But when you get to the pub, right? Now, until recently, wearing a mask wasn't necessary in pubs, restaurants, or cafes where you would be eating or drinking. But now, the government says you must wear a mask in these places when you are not eating or drinking. Now, they're a little short on practicalities there, but does it go something like this? Oh, it's nice to see you, Jimmy. Yeah, I saw your brother the other day. He was blah, 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 blah. How absurd is it to expect people to do this? And since the laws are so draconian and absurd and mental, you can be sure that you won't be able to stick to them and that you will therefore be a criminal. You will bring a straw. I like that. For my burger, will my straw come in the consistency of a thin milkshake or gruel? And I will just, why not just have a feeding tube inserted into my colon, and then I can wear a mask permanently. Sharp-eyed viewers will have noticed I am wearing my Rude Health t-shirt, and this one came from Spreadshirt, which is good news because they have removed the design from the Spreadshirt pages and they've refused to sell anymore. So if you ordered one really quickly, like the same day that I created that shop, you may well receive your Rude Health shirt. The purpose being excellent. I am glad it's on the way. I have a solution, and I will soon be offering to sell you a t-shirt on deekjackson.com. So, don't rush there immediately and expect my clone to be making that happen. It's going to take me a day or two, but I will be offering these t-shirts on deekjackson.com very shortly. Commander Nightmares, I don't know what you're worried about, but thanks for your concern. So, no 9/11. But, moving on, let's do what the newspapers say. Now, the headline's a load of pish about Brexit, which I'm sure doesn't bother anybody except the Europeans, and fuck them. Let's get to the real news. Pandemic causing deep social divisions. Mask wearing and lockdown rules are now causing deeper social fractures than Brexit. See aforementioned fuck the Europeans. According to a UK-wide study that claims solidarity has given way to distrust. No kidding. Significant minorities of people who stuck to the rules say they hate people who did not stick to the rules or who do not stick to the rules. People who wore masks said they hate those who do not wear face coverings, and people who adhere to the lockdown hate rule breakers of the lockdown. Indeed, rules: wearing a mask, maintaining social distancing, not having visitors to your house from other households, those kind of rules. People hate you for not obeying the rules. Yeah, they do change the rules often. That's so that you will be a criminal no matter what you do. See 1984. Strong negative views. And it goes on. Two-thirds of people who abide by lockdown rules and regulations, two-thirds, say they hate lockdown rule breakers and think they are bad people. Anybody else feeling like a new Jew yet? Because two-thirds of the country, if you're not obeying, two-thirds of the country hate you and think you're a bad person. That's in the UK. In America, as far as I understand it, it's 50-50. There seems to be a fairly clear division in America between Redumlicans and demo twats. USA is losing people by the droves. 200,000 people dead out of a population of 360 million. I don't believe that's, let me know when you have to breed with your sister. And also, I think you'll find that quite a lot of the people who died were fat, old, or sick. And I'm not saying there's no virus. Good morning, 9/11 was a success. I see what you've done there. I'm not saying there's no virus. I'm not saying virus isn't a real illness. I'm saying that the response is completely out of proportion and is that the response is an excuse for something else. I'm not saying there's no virus, that viruses don't make you ill. Flu in this country. Flu is killing 3 times more people than the coronavirus. Nobody hates me because I don't wear a mask in winter, the height of the flu season. Nobody hates me for that. Now 2/3 of the people in this country hate me if I'm not wearing a mask and obeying the lockdown. They have been socially conditioned into this state. They didn't hate me before. They didn't worry about the flu. They accepted the risk of maybe I'll catch the flu this winter and die because I'm 90 or I have diabetes or I'm obese. But now they think the government should fucking save them. Not the government. AstraZeneca and GlaxoSmithKline. Together, we, the superheroes of the 21st century pandemic, will save your lives. Are you afraid enough? Are you afraid enough? Be afraid. Be very afraid. But then, hate people. Hate people who are not afraid. Because AstraZeneca, GlaxoSmithKline, and the other pharmaceutical companies of the world are on their way to save you by injecting you with something that will not work. There's no vaccine for AIDS. There's no vaccine for the common cold. They're not even it's not even a vaccine they're planning to make, by the way. For students of science, I should like to draw a definition between a protein inhibitor, which is what they're developing, and a vaccine. A vaccine is where they give you a small dose of chickenpox, polio, smallpox, and your body has an immune reaction to that, but you don't get such a big dose that you die or develop the full disease. There is no vaccine for herpes either, as Ole is correctly pointing out. So this vaccine that GlaxoSmithKline, GlaxoSmithKline, superhero of the new dimension, will save you from nothing. They will save you from nothing. You will simply be being injected with something which potentially will make you sick anyway. No vax, no test, no mask. I am in rude health, and I suggest you get yourself into rude health as well, mentally and physically, because this shit is going down. There's no escape from the mass mind rape, and even if you resist and make it difficult for them, I have some bad news for you. You're not going to win. You're not going to overthrow the giant uniform code of commerce which pervades the world. You're not going to topple the I think it's like 28 treaties that my country, the United Kingdom, has signed with the World Health Organization since 1948. Those are not about to be thrown out of the window by the UK or America or any other country. And America may have left the World Health Organization, but it didn't. It just stopped funding them. It's still a signatory to all of the treaties. There's no escape from this mass mind rape. The best you can hope for is that the fascist cunts who are about to do this to us all are inept at the fringes, and you can somehow escape the vaccine or the unpleasant attention of your oppressor, because they're just not very good at everything all the time. So, people hate you. People hate you and hate me for not obeying. And that's just the way the powers that be want it, because they can't afford that many policemen, so they have turned the population into a bunch of fascist cunts on their behalf. The kind of proxy thug who will do you harm, who will grass you up, who will block your way. That's what's coming. A tyranny of the masses, far greater than tutting at you because you don't believe the official version of 9/11. Oh, you thought it was bad because your uncle gave you a hard time for your belief that a 9/11 was a lie. Wait till they think you're a threat to their life. Those cunts are coming for you. My plan is to make myself a target immediately. And, before the hardcore sets in, I want people to know that they're being fascist cunts real soon. I want the fascist cuntery of this narrative to become obvious to all the fascist cunts who are planning to oppress me and make me wear a mask, take a test, and have a vaccine. I want that to be obvious to them as soon as possible. And so the Brexit bill could be blocked in the Lords as Tories react with anger over its legality. So this is about how Britain is going to renege on a contract it signed, interestingly, speaking of treaties. It's called the Withdrawal Act, and we signed it with the European Union as a preface to leaving Europe at the end of this year. But now Boris has spotted some stuff in it that he doesn't like, so he's just going to rewrite it. And it's not a treaty, it's a contract. There's quite a lot of disquiet about that, because even members of his own government are saying, oh, you can't do something like that. That would mean you're breaking international law. You know, like bombing niggers or laundering money. We'll come to that later. So what is international law, and why would we care if we break it? Well, international law is nothing more or less than the posturing of criminal mafia groups, pretending that there's a veneer of respectability about their behavior and their actions. International law is just like two dons saying, so you will sell the smack and we will sell the cocaine, it's agreed. That's all international law is. The posturing of criminal mafia scum to try and impress you that they're somehow accountable or transparent about their behaviors. The thing is with international law, if you don't like international law as a country, you can just ignore it because, you know, international, I don't know what you would call it, international justice is a bit slow and rubbish. You know, see the nigger bombing and the invading of Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, the annexation of bits of Ukraine, the invasion of Grenada, the death squads of Central and South America over Earth at the moment by drones. International law. You're having a fucking laugh. Really? International haw haw haw. So, in another story, I like this. It's got nothing to do with much of anything in the sense of global craziness. Mathematician wins $3 million prize for his work on the chaos of chaotic systems. A mathematician has tamed a family of equations that had made no sense until his paper. An Austrian-born researcher at Imperial College London won $3 million on his work on stochastic analysis, a field that describes how random effects turn the maths of things like the growth of forest fires, the spread of water droplets on tissue, from a fiendishly complex problem into something we might understand. And then what's interesting about this is his work so stunned his colleagues, one suggested it must have been transmitted to him by an alien civilization. Which is an interesting way of saying, what the fuck? How did he do that? Later on, the man who won the prize, says, oh no, this is the namesake of the prize. This is the Hare Prize, and this is a biography of Mr. Hare, who was a polymath, but he eventually settled on mathematics after his realization. This is interesting to me as a physicist of sorts. Ideas in theoretical physics can be swiftly consigned to the dustbin. What he's saying there is theoretical physics is full of pish. Big Bang, black holes, dark energy, dark matter, total nonsense. Honestly, you might as well say the giant spaghetti monster did it. It's total bollocks. And so Hare says, I wouldn't want to put my name to results that could be superseded. In mathematics, if you obtain a result, then that is it. It's the universality of mathematics. It is absolute truth. An interesting proposition that there should be any such thing as absolute truth. I'm not sure I totally subscribe to that, but I think mathematics is probably quite close. Back to the coronavirus. Hundreds of thousands of people could be asked to isolate unnecessarily under mass testing program due to false positives. Sir David Spiegelhalter, a professor at Cambridge University, said that mass screening seems like a good idea, but the danger is false positives. The threshold of a test would have to be such that it would pick up even a hint of being infectious, meaning you would always generate very large numbers of false positives. Even if it were only 1%, if you test the population of Britain, you will have 660,000 false positives. 660,000 people who have the vaccine. And a few stories here. Hospitals, 2 million waiting list for treatment. That's non-coronavirus treatments in Britain. What we've done is close hospitals. So if you are actually sick, if you actually do have an illness that requires medical treatment, tough fucking shit. So here's a picture. I will have to show you this picture. The headline is Rule of Six, 6 people or less only. No social groupings of more than 6 people. MD War Ramen, thank you for your support there. The rule of six, no more than six people in any social setting. And so I must show you this picture because it's so much fun. Here's a mass group of Santas being temperature tested. I don't know where that is because Christmas is a long way away, isn't it? That's Santa's little helper there doing her part by making sure that none of the Santas have the corona ho 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 virus. It's very dark here. Why isn't it night there? Chad, I'm the UK, and here it is 11 o'clock, 3 stig. Yeah, it's about 11:30 in the morning, so it's not dark here. I should say, for those of you who are interested, I am going to be moving to an evening show. The What the Papers Say, it's been fun, and this might be the best time to explain to people. I started this for the 100 gigabyte data challenge, which finishes today. Today is the last day of my first month on a phone contract with 100 gigabytes of data. I attempted to use all of the 100 gigabytes of data by streaming stuff onto the internet, but I have failed. I've only used 60 gigabytes. Now, of course, I could watch some 4K drone footage from Azerbaijan or the Grand Canyon, but that would be cheating. So I haven't used 100 gigabytes, but what I have discovered is a penchant for streaming. And so I will continue streaming on an almost daily basis, but I think I'm going to move to my studio. I don't need to stream from my phone anymore for the purposes of the 100 gigabyte data challenge. I'm just going to do it from my studio of an evening with more graphic splendor. And also, to be honest, What the Papers Say is total pish, and it's especially difficult to get any international news in Scotland because they seem to want to just tell you what happened in Auchterarder or Auchtermuchty or in Banff. Scottish newspapers seem to be exclusively interested in telling the people of Scotland nothing about the fucking world. So I find the papers a bit limiting. I'm going to do the fucking news streamed most nights starting very soon. So something to look forward to there. Moving on. And there really is such a small amount of news in this. But here's a good story. This is an investigative piece about corruption. And the headline says, Britain's wealth is underpinned by global corruption. And it's written by a woke tosser who draws comparisons. He's laying out the whole colonialism and Britain's past slavery. Britain was slavery in the past and all of our wealth is built on slavery. See the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, the Egyptian Empire, the Syrian Empire. Fucking suffering is inevitable. Victory is ours. Fuck you. I've never understood this desire to say, they won. They fought and they won, and it was bad that they won. Shit happens. Get over it. Anyway, so the story goes. Britain's wealth was built on slavery and corruption, and it continues to be built on slavery and corruption, says the woke journal. Okay, let's just take the Britain out of that while I open his eyes and widen his horizon. Sandy McNabb, good morning. Because instead of Britain's wealth is underpinned by global corruption, I would say that, global wealth is underpinned by global corruption. Business is theft. That's big business. Obviously, if I sell you a bit, it's totally fine. I guarantee you both the weight and the quality. Looters rely on secret regimes to process and hide their stolen money. Britain has the most offshore tax havens of any country on earth. Thank you, Mr. Warren. The UK is the money laundering capital of the world. And if any evidence of this were needed, right? When you register a company in Britain, offshore or onshore, you can literally call yourself anything and have any address. I kid you not. Now, to Americans, this might seem funny because you have much tighter incorporation laws. But I swear this is true. In Britain, you can incorporate yourself, all right, at Companies House in Britain as a limited company as Triple X Stalin. That's your name. Or Triple X. And your address could be Mars, Fake Street, anything you like. You can incorporate a limited company in Britain. Yeah, we do have weird rules. That's why we want out of the EU, because the EU had the thinnest grip of financial oversight on the City of London. A no-deal Brexit, which Boris Johnson favours, will cement the UK's position as the global port for organised crime. The EU's feeble restraints will be removed, and there will be no accountability, and the rest of the world will find it clear that Britain is the place you come to wash your loot. So, false identities and false addresses at Companies House, more offshore tax havens than you can shake your fist at. The Tax Justice Network found that there are three territories alone in Britain have done the most to facilitate the theft of trillions from Africa, where corrupt regimes siphon off the money of a country into an offshore account registered in Britain. Triple X Stalin. And those three territories are the British Virgin Islands, Bermuda, and the Cayman Islands. Jersey, a British dependency, comes fourth on the list. So, global corruption loves the City of London. And in fact, its total independence, it would make no difference to the wealth of England. Their wealth is built on and around the City of London. Here's a story. Food poverty will soon get a lot worse. Which is a good thing, I think, because it might shut those identity politics fuckers up. Really, if all you've got to worry about is that your personal, strange, and unique identity isn't fully supported enough in the media, then fuck you. There are children starving in this country. 4.5 million children living in poverty and going hungry, even though their parents might have a job. But no, I think we should get really anxious about those people who are underrepresented in the media. And also, we should start worrying about whether this country is fully liberal and equalized enough for all of these special snowflakes and their issues about their identity. Never mind the children whose stomachs are grumbling. And so then it's media, which is, film, TV, and radio, which is obviously pish. I'm sure there's some world news in here. Skies turn red as wildfires burn out of control across the US. Large, fast-moving fires raged across the American West yesterday, destroying hundreds of homes in the Pacific Northwest and sending dense plumes of smoke that turned the skies amber across the region. Nancy Pelosi said, "Mother Nature is angry with us." Man, she is such a dimwit. Honestly, what a fucking idiot. Mother Nature not only doesn't exist, Mother Nature is an anthropomorphization of the concept of nature. Mother Nature doesn't give a fuck about humans. Really, it doesn't. Mother Nature couldn't give a fuck if we all disappear into a wormhole of our own imagination right now. Mother Nature just doesn't give a toss, as well as not existing. And so Nancy Pelosi is really making some kind of romantic appeal to something bizarre and almost quasi-religious, which is strange because Donald Trump is in bed with the right-wing religios, and the Democrats appear to be in bed with fairy tales and hobgoblins. So your forthcoming election in America is like some sort of Lord of the Rings battle between Smaug the Terrible on one side and an imaginary being from a dimension beyond our understanding. Biden calls Trump's handling of virus almost criminal after book revelations. Almost criminal? Goodness me, get off the fence, Joe. What do you really mean? I swear, I would pay money to see Donald Trump and Joe Biden in what in Scotland we call a slagging match. In Scotland, if you have a slagging match, you have two people who just stand there and swear at each other. Because I find this kind of dilute, antiseptic, asinine way of talking about your opposition in politics disingenuous, and it's just almost inhuman that Donald Trump wouldn't say Joe Biden is an ass-kissing twat, and Joe Biden wouldn't say Donald Trump is a lying cocksucker. Why wouldn't the American people want those adverts on their television? It would be so much more colourful and entertaining than this pish. The death toll from COVID nears 200,000 in America. The world's highest. Well, it's not though. Not if you look at it per million or per 100,000 of population. And so that piece of journalism, that's narrative. That's not truth. That's what that is. And so that's a slant. But then this is a paper full of left-wing woke pish. This is to do with an interview Donald Trump gave to a journalist called Woodward, where Donald Trump says that he played down the virus in the early part of its emergence so as not to create a panic. It's so much better now, Donald, isn't it? And then we have Donald Trump criticizing Mr. Woodward for holding back the revelations in his book. As if he had a duty to come forward and say, I just had an interview with the president where he said he was lying to the... Okay, but it's all quite funny. The German civil alarms tested for the first time since the... Okay, I think... so German civil alarm system tested for the first time since Cold War. I'll be brief because I think the storm here may be causing connection problems. Tens of thousands of alarms in Germany, which had laid dormant since the Cold War, were reactivated for the first time yesterday at 11 a.m. in an effort to educate the population about what to do in a catastrophe. As well as testing the technical scope, this warning day will take place every year on a day in September. It's about informing the public. About what? There's nothing here about what you're going to do. In the whole of Germany, the alarms went off. What? What are you to do? Run away from the virus? What is this warning educating you to do? Freak out? What should the public do when the warning goes off? Oh my God, I'm being warned! Oh no! Run for the hills! The virus is coming! What will they do? The warning was also sent out via push notifications on phones, PA systems, and vehicles travelling through towns and cities. Hold your breath! Oh, that's a good idea, isn't it? That is a good idea, isn't it? Perhaps we should all hold our breath until the virus goes away. Oh, wait. That's not going to work, is it? So what's the warning for? Is it, are they simply readying the equipment for something they're not telling us? I mean, what do you need to warn the entire country about? Ever? Answers on a postcard, please, too. Be afraid. Be very afraid. I don't think you should be afraid, even though you may be the new Jew, like me. Visit deekjackson.com quite soon. You can get one of your rude health, no mask, no test, no vax t-shirts. And together, we, the new Jews of planet Earth, will get fucked over by the fearful fascist cunts who are out there waiting for us. Sorry, that's just the way I think it's going to go down. I wish I could tell you that we were going to overwhelm them, but there's so few of us, and there's so many of them. They're going to fuck us over. I'll be surprised if we're not held down limb by limb and injected with the goo within a year. because the mood music that I am getting everywhere I go is of a fearful population intent in not only complying with every fascist, uh, all the minutiae of this fascist tyranny that we're being subjected to, but also making you comply and obey as well. That's what's coming for you. A fascism never seen and had never imagined. I mean, it was bad enough when you couldn't say 9/11 was a lie without people tutting at you. But now, imagine you're saying, I'm not having the vaccine, and people are reporting you to the Stasi, the KGB, the SS, the British Medical Association, the Public Health Authority, the FDA. That's what's coming. Your neighbours reporting on you if you have refused or will not have the vaccine. Nice. Until then, I hope you have a great day, because I'm gonna. I'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.